Over the years, we have learned so much about space thanks to good research, but the more scientists dig, the more questions they have. Scientists have always wanted to know if other life forms exist in the universe, and now scientists have just announced that a strange, unknown signal is coming from the middle of the Milky Way. Let's talk about this recent discovery. Fast radio bursts. Also known as FRBs, these are rare flashlights that appear only for a few milliseconds. These bright lights got scientists working for years. After FRBs were detected outside our galaxy, scientists began to study them, and for a good 13 years they were on it. But on April 28, 2020, two ground-based radio telescopes detected an intense pulse of radio waves within the Milky Way. For the first time in forever, an FRB was detected within our galaxy, and despite only lasting a mere millisecond, it was almost impossible to miss. The Canadian Hydrogen Intensity Mapping Experiment, known as CHIME for short, and the Survey for Transient Astronomical Radio Emission 2, known as STARE-2, picked up the FRB about 30,000 light-years away from the Earth. Normally, to capture an FRB, you have to point your radio dish in a direction and hope that you have pointed it in the right direction. By luck, you might be able to capture one. This discovery made scientists feel lucky because CHIME wasn't even facing the right direction when the FRB was captured, and they were still able to see it. 2020 wasn't the first time FRBs were discovered. In 2007, Duncan Lorimer and David Narkovich were the first to discover FRBs while they were studying data from the Parkes radio dish in Australia. Are you wondering why it took so long to detect another? That's because FRBs are far away, and on top of that, they are very fleeting. Normally, when astronomers discover anything, they dedicate one or more telescopes to focus on the object to enable them to study it properly, but they were unable to do that with the FRBs. These lights just come and go in the blink of an eye. However, astronomers failed to give up on FRBs. They have been able to gather enough knowledge about them based on the recorded events from outside our galaxy. Thanks to research, we know that FRBs are bright flashes of radio light that last for microseconds up to milliseconds. We also know that most of them are billions of light years away. With this knowledge, the only unknown fact about the FRBs is their origin and what they could be. This is why we can say scientists scored a big one in April 2020 when they discovered the most energetic radio blast in our Milky Way. The previous FRBs had been billions of light years away, making them a lot harder to study, but now that one was found closer to us, scientists are now closer to determining the origin of FRBs. Since then, astronomers have been summing up their theories about FRBs. Now they suspect they at least come from small sources, and also they have suspected neutron stars to be the source, since the FRBs are both small and energetic. But of all neutron stars, scientists believe they most likely originated from a magnetar, which is a type of young neutron star born from the embers of supernovas with a magnetic field 5,000 trillion times more powerful than Earth's, thereby making them the universe's most powerful magnets. This wasn't a guess. A lot of work has gone into studying the FRBs with magnetars since it was suspected. Magnetars are known to emit high-energy electromagnetic radiation, notably gamma rays and X-rays. Both of these erupt in short-lived flares, and there has been speculation that radio waves could be emitted in such a process, and that would pinpoint magnetars as the source for FRBs. The latest FRB discovered in our galaxy is named by astronomers as FRB 200428 and was found to have originated in the constellation of Vulpecula, which happens to be where the galactic magnetar is located. This discovery was also accompanied by a burst of X-rays from the sky region, but that was before CHIME and STARE-2 would discover FRB 200428. From the magnetar, which was known to exhibit transient radio pulsations, other telescopes detected multiple X-ray and gamma-ray bursts. These telescopes also observed X-ray bursts from the magnetar at the same time as the fast radio bursts. But just to be sure, attention turned to the 500-meter aperture spherical radio telescope, known as FAST for short, located in southwest China. This telescope detected an FRB in the direction where FRB 200428 was said to be located, which is also somewhere around SGR 1935 plus 2154, the said galactic magnetar. This further proves the association between the X-ray source and fast radio bursts. Now, this is a clue as to how magnetars produce FRBs, but for now scientists are not sure, but are trying to find out what all of this discovery means. Starless rogue alien planets. The more scientists look into space, the more they find things that contradict previously held theories. Initially, what we believed is that all planets must orbit some kind of star, but now the latest discovery shows that there are planets that travel through space without orbiting any star. Recently, Kepler has done what it wasn't made to do by providing further tentative evidence that free-floating planets exist. From the data collected by NASA's Kepler Space Telescope, it observed that other possible exoplanets roam freely on their own. Kepler collected this data during a 2-month stint of its K2 mission phase. During these 2 months, Kepler observed a field of millions of stars near the center of our galaxy every 30 minutes. In analyzing this data, scientists hope to see signs of rare gravitational microlensing events which occur when the gravity of a massive foreground object bends the light of a more distant star or quasar, acting like a cosmic magnifying lens that allows scientists to see objects that might otherwise be too far to spot. While analyzing the data, they found 27 short-duration signal candidates of varying lengths, from an hour up to 10 days long. Before now, some of these signals have been captured in some data from the Earth. Of all these signals, 4 of them were shorter than the rest. However, the data from these 4 are consistent with the presence of planets with roughly the same mass as Earth. If there were a host star and a planet in orbit, scientists might expect a longer signal. Now, it is believed that these planets were initially orbiting a star but were pulled away by a gravitational force or a more massive planet or object. Spotting these signals was difficult for the scientists, especially because Kepler wasn't designed to detect exoplanets using microlensing and was never designed to study such a crowded field of stars. Also, the telescope was old and could not produce the same quality of pictures needed, instead using a blurred vision at one of the most densely crowded parts of the sky where there were multiple bright stars and asteroids. A researcher compared the work to looking for the single blink of a firefly in the middle of a motorway using a mobile phone. The scientists needed to extract brightenings that tiny with just a single chance before it's gone. To achieve this, researchers had to re-strategize. Since the Kepler telescope was decommissioned in 2018, researchers have turned their faces to telescopes that have the capability to do the job. Some of these telescopes include NASA's Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, whose mission will be observed with others such as the European Space Agency's Euclid mission. Both are capable of spotting signals of microlensing events, which could be used to help confirm the existence of these strange planets. However, please note that although these discoveries are exciting and intriguing, right, you need to know they don't prove the existence of free-floating planets. Strange objects around the Milky Way. Scientists have also discovered that something is going on in the supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy known as Sagittarius A star. And on top of that, astronomers have spotted a weird new class of objects not far from the black hole. Normally, these objects appear compact, but they stretch out when they are near the black hole during their orbits, which can last from 100 to 1,000 years. In 2005, scientists spotted an object at the center of our galaxy, which they dubbed G1. Later, they found a second object in 2012, which they named G2. By 2014, G2 had been spotted close to the black hole. It is believed that G2 was initially 2 stars that orbited the black hole together but merged into a single giant star and became obscured by a thick gas and dust cloud. Recently, scientists found 4 more objects, which they named G3, G4, G5, and G6. They orbit differently from G1 and G2, which are similar to one another. The researchers believe that all 6 objects are the result of binary stars or pairs of stars that orbit one another that were forced together due to the strong gravity of Sagittarius A star, and they believe that the merging of stars may be happening in the universe more often than they have believed. It is believed that the black hole may be causing the stars to merge, and that most stars that are observed now may be the end product of mergers that are now calm. The interaction between galaxies and black holes is evolving and has been confusing scientists, which is why they are putting in more work to learn about this interaction. As much as these mysterious objects found near the Milky Way are similar, G2 is different because it didn't undergo much stretching like the others. Scientists believe that something must be keeping G2 compact and also making it survive its encounter with the black hole. Looks like there's a stellar object in the G2. Also, the fact that these G objects are found near Sagittarius A star, which likely swallowed up the gas it ripped off the stars, means they could actually be feeding the constantly voracious black hole. It is also proof that there is a complete disorder not only in the Milky Way, but also in other galaxies. Astronomers are still gathering information about the G objects and are also continuously analyzing them while looking for others. You can tell there's so much in space to discover, and it would be just amazing to have humans reach the point where these mysteries will be solved easily.